Hello again, CRSN 151. Still working on that intro, which is probably boring. But okay, this video is going to cover something called section view in SolidWorks. It's not necessarily what I would refer to as a tool that you would find in the Features tab, but it is pretty useful for implementing some of these tools, as we'll see in future videos. And it's also very useful for getting a better visual sense of what's going on in your part. And this tool is called section view. You can find it right here. This is the section view icon. And essentially what it's going to do is it's going to take your part and it's going to split it and make one side of that split invisible. So it's going to cross-section your part on some predefined plane so that you can see inside of it. And this is useful for a variety of reasons. I'm not going to get too far into it. This is just going to focus on the mechanics of how to use section view, but you'll definitely find yourself using it in the future. So this here is a nice little pipe CAD I made. Hint, hint, it involves Project 3 if you've seen this before, if you're taking CRSN 151. And let's say we want to visually inspect the interior of the pipe. Well, that's hard to do from here because it's kind of, it's covered. There's not a surface you can look through. So we're going to use section view to bisect the pipe and look inside so we can kind of visually inspect the CAD. So section view works by splitting based off of a plane. And in this case, I did a good job CADing my part. So it's actually it's already bisected by the right plane, as you can see here. You can see my screen. So if I was to select the right plane and click on section view, okay, well that is not quite right, but let me ignore that. I'll get to that in a second, but let me just fix that real quickly. There we go. It would look like that, and it's going to look like that for you. It looked different for me because I was screwing around with it earlier, but when you first turn on section view after selecting your desired plane, this is what it's going to look like. See, it bisects everything in your SolidWorks file as defined by the plane you selected. So that is defined by the right plane there. And you can see, now you can see on the interior of your pipe. There's a few things about the section view dialog box that you should know. First is you can click and drag these orange icons to adjust the plane that you're going to start the section view off of. And that's why my numbers over here were a little bit messed up, because I had adjusted a little back and forth. And you can see as I rotate these bars here, these numbers in this section 1 dialog box that I'm highlighting right now, they change. So that's what those numbers are for. There's an offset distance from the plane and there's a rotation from the X and the Y. So that's why if I reset these to 0, it's going to go back to being normal. And this is a tool you can use if you want to adjust your field of view a little bit while you're using section view. You can also, there's a few options that will change the way it visually looks. In this section here, you can show this cap. And if I remove that, see, you can peer like even the interior of your part. I don't tend to use that, but you might find a reason why you'd like to do that. You can change the color if you think that's going to help you by selecting Keep Cap Color. And this graphics only section is likely not going to do anything. So don't worry about that right now. That's a little bit more complicated. Just focus on this visual dissection of your part. That's mostly what you need to know. You can also add a second plane depending on what's useful. So see, I just took a different plane and I threw that in there as well. So if you need to view the interior of your pipe from multiple angles, that could be helpful. And those settings work exactly the same way that the previous section view works. You can also select transparent section by bodies, just hit OK, that's fine. And you can select the body of your part and see, now you'll actually get that line representation of what would have been completely invisible, except when you hit the checkbox, like so, you'll still have this little ghostly outline. So that could be useful. when you want to end section view, it's not going to appear in the feature tree. You just have to go back up to the section view tab and just click end section view, and then you're good to go. So let me go over that really quickly. First, you're going to select the plane that you want to cut your model with. Then you're going to go up to section view and click it. Configure your settings as you would like, and then just hit the checkbox. So 9 times out of 10, I usually use a plane to section view, one of the planes that SolidWorks already defined for you. But in another video, we're going to go over reference geometry. So if none of the planes were convenient for the section you want to do, you could always create your own plane. But again, that's going to be a future video. This tool is very useful for visually inspecting your CAD, but it's also super useful for getting a view on surfaces of your part that you would maybe want to add a feature to that you couldn't see before. So if I wanted to say add some sort of rotational feature to the inside of one of these pipes, now it's a lot easier to do because I can actually sketch on the plane I used to section view the part. So now I can sketch something on the interior portion of my part that I wouldn't have been able to see earlier. So all those same SolidWorks concepts that we talked about earlier, going from a 2D sketch to a 3D sketch, they're going to still apply here. And that's really useful if you want to do something like make an interior pocket in your part that is maybe invisible to the eye from the outside, or see down here if you wanted to make some sort of rotation that was sweeping around your part. This section view tool actually, in addition to allowing you to visually analyze your part, gives you a lot of options for how you can use different SolidWorks features. So it's both a visual tool and a functional tool for modifying your part. And there's a lot of facets to section view I didn't cover in this video, so you can always take to YouTube if you want some more specific information. But I think what I've presented to you is going to be more than enough for you to use section view for your project. So I hope that was helpful. And keep an eye out for those other videos.